and welcome to the Jammin Jukebox radio show. I am your host, DJ Delta Dawn, and so very glad to be here with you. It is, guess what? It is Friday Eve. That means tomorrow the weekend will be here, and I hope all of you have great plans for the weekend. I don't know about you, but I'm loving the cooler temperatures, and I love the fact that fall is here, and we're starting to see pumpkins and Halloween ads everywhere, and it's just a great time of year. I think many of you know that this is one of my favorite seasons and just times of the year. And I'm also excited that it's Friday evening because tonight our show, I must tell you, I have been looking forward to speaking with our guest ever since we booked him. Really, even before I knew I was going to have him on the show and I heard his music for the first time, it was a no-brainer. I was like, I got to get this guy on the show because he is definitely somebody that needs to be heard. And I love his flair for music. He's got a great song out that we've been playing called Starting Over, and it is an awesome killer song. I mean, I could go on and on about it. It's one of my personal favorites on my iPod and my phone these days. I've been playing it to death. And he is just an incredible musical talent. And so without further ado, I want to bring on and introduce to you tonight Mr. Chris Giles. Hello.
How are you doing? That was a good intro. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome, and well-deserved, I must tell you.
I got to live up to that now. That's the best part, right?
Well, thank you so much for being our guest tonight. I can tell you right out of the gate, you just rock, man. I just love your music.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really, really appreciate it. It's quite an honor. Thank you.
Well, you're so very welcome, and like I was saying in the intro, it was really a no-brainer for me. When I heard your music, I actually came across your song. Your song was sent to me by, a music outfit. I guess you had gone on their site and submitted your music and to an ad where they had posted my radio show there, and I started going through this music, and I came across your song, and I was like, whoa, because for me, Chris, it's one of those songs when I heard it, I immediately, as I do so often with indie artists, I was scratching my head going, why is this dude not signed? I mean, really, I could so hear the song on regular mainstream radio, and I was like, this just baffles me all the time. And it really does make me wonder, what is the music industry doing, and how do they go about determining who they're going to put on a major record label, because they are missing out big time, when it's artists like you that come on.
Yeah, when you figure that out, you let us know, right?
When I figure it out, I'll have my own label and have all of you guys signed, and then we'll just blow everybody out of the water. How's that sound?
Exactly, and you can write a book, and you'll be rich and famous.
If it were that simple, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
Well,
it's a lot of work. I appreciate that. It's a really cool song, and I was fortunate to write it with an amazing producer, Rusty Wilmot, who. He had a #1 Billboard album last year, so he's got some chops, and he's a good friend of mine. So I was very fortunate, and we were really happy with the outcome.
Oh, most definitely. Well, the outcome is quite positive, I must say, and so let's talk a little bit about how you got into music, because obviously this is your forte, no doubt.
Well, it's interesting. I think it's relatively short term. I've been doing it probably 9-10 years now, which isn't a long time, but it isn't a short time either. And to be honest, it was pretty much a spiritual journey at first, because I just kind of out of nowhere decided I wanted to be in a band. I mean, literally never had any music training, never done any singing other than karaoke, and just said, you know what, I think I want to be in a band. And I will say my first audition was pretty funny. I'm surprised they called me back, because a lot of what people don't understand is when you do karaoke, you can follow the words and the timing's right there. But when you get with a band, you got to know 8 measures in. You come in, and then there's 4 measures between a chorus and a bridge, or whatever that is. So I was so far off, thinking, I can do this. That's going to be easy, and it really wasn't. So once I got into the band thing, really started realizing how much work it was going to be, and really felt driven to do that. Like I said, I think it's spiritual. I think God had a plan, and so he kind of got me into it slowly, and then a few years later, I taught myself how to play guitar and started leading worship and stuff. So it has been a very interesting journey, to say the least.
And on that note, as I was reading your bio recently, I was really impressed with, how you just kind of put it out there front and center about how Christ is such a central figure in your life, and how he's brought you through so many things. And the song Starting Over is just such a great a song for anyone, really, but for anyone who's ever been through any struggles, that is the uplift song for people to be listening to, in my opinion, because it really does talk about going through whatever it is and coming through on the other side. And sometimes you just have to start over. You just have to start back at ground zero, and go from there. And
yeah, I almost think daily, personally, that it's a commitment every day. Like, it's a recommitment every single day. I have to wake up and say, you know what? It's a new day. Whatever happened yesterday is kind of gone. Whether it was a mountaintop or a valley. You know what I mean? We have started over today, so yeah.
And that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I love that song, because it has that message, but yet it could be easily played on a mainstream radio, and people, that aren't of the faith or whatever, they would dig it because of the message. The message can mean so many different things in such a positive way, and I love that. I really do. And my son, he's I spoke of him earlier, but my son, he's 18. He's off to college now, but he's very musically inclined. He loves music, and he feels like, he tells me all the time, Mom, this is how you reach people. And it's so true, because if there's nothing else out there that connects people more than music, I don't know what it is, honestly.
Right, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. And that, that's why I feel like maybe it's so easy to look back, you know what I mean, and just say, wow, these last 10 years I can see God moving and putting me in situations to grow myself and to grow spiritually as well as physically and vocally, you know what I mean, and even writing. I joke around now because I do a lot of writing. It's funny, it comes naturally now, but in school that was like my worst subject. So then it's a God, right? Like, yeah, I'm getting D's in English, and now here I am writing music. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it is amazing. I mean, that's the sense of humor of God, I always say. Things
Absolutely.
we don't ever envision we would be doing, we're doing. It's like, really? Okay. But one of the things that I am just fascinated about, first of all, when I first saw your picture, I was like, oh my gosh, I bet not only is your name Chris, but do you ever get mistaken for Chris Daltrey? Because I'm like, you two dudes could be brothers.
All the time.
I'm sure you do.
Isn't that funny? And I think I'm older, so he really looks like me, is what I say.
There you go.
No, I get that all the time. And, I take it as a compliment, honestly. I think after a while I hear it, I was like, really? But it really is a compliment, because he is such an incredible artist, and I actually like his style and his sound, and in my cover band we've done some Daughtry songs, and I can actually sing like him, so it's really kind of apropos. It really fits, and I think that's kind of cool. So I'm going to take it as a compliment, because he's a big star, so if I'm like him, I'm good.
Well, and the other interesting fact I want to throw out there is Chris is from my neck of the woods. He lives like 40 minutes up the road from where I do. I can't tell you where he lives. I understand he lives in this incredibly large house now. But before he became a rock and roll star, he worked for a dealership in Greensboro, North Carolina, which is, about 35-minute drive from my house. So he was working in service department for a major dealership in Greensboro, and, of course, had the band on the side and just tried out for American Idol, and the rest they say is history. So yes, I mean, when I heard your music and I saw you, I was like, my gosh, if Chris ever needs a front man for Daughtry, you're the guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He just needs to call you up and go, okay, you've even got the same name. Let's go, man. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. So when they're yelling Chris, I'll answer to it. Hey, Chris. Hey, I'm right here.
What do you need? Shades on, and you're good to go, right?
That's exactly it. Hey, I'm down with that. If he's listening, call me.
Yeah, that's right. So now let's talk about your style of music, because it's got a rocker feel to it, but it's got it's kind of got a almost a kind of a beat R&B feel. I mean, it's just so good. I mean, how did you decide on this is the style of music I'm going to make?
Dawn, that is a really good question, and I will say it like this. This is what recently I've come to know. When I decided to write music, what I do is I just honestly vibe off the energy of the song, and it's been coming out probably at the beginning was different than what I expected, because in my cover band we do a lot of rock and roll. We do Bon Jovi, we do Breaking Benjamin, I've done Tool, so some pretty heavy stuff, as well as doing Britney Spears and interesting stuff like that. But when I started writing, I literally just wanted it to be very organic, and I think that I will say that for me, there's some large influences, and through the 90s, all I listened to was R&B, so I had a huge R&B influence. And then, of course, spiritually being such a big part of my life, that those two big things kind of came out of it. And I didn't set out to have a genre. I didn't want to pick one at the beginning, and I don't even think now that I really have one. I just really, when we write a song, I just let it flow and just kind of open up and see what comes out. It's funny because I've got my 6th song actually got finished today, so tomorrow it should be released on iTunes and stuff. And it seems like they're all so different. It's such a neat thing, from a creative, artist perspective. They're so different, and I like that. I personally like that.
Well, and that's the beauty of indie music, I believe, Chris, is that, you don't get boxed in. Major labels sometimes will dictate what kind of music you're going to put out based on so many different things, the masses, record sales and this and that. But when you're an indie artist, even though you don't have the major backing of a record label to fund a lot of things, you have that creativity, and the ceiling is as high as you want it to be. So you don't have to resign yourself to a particular genre. You can just do what you want to do. And, if you want to make a rock album one time and a jazz album the next, there's nothing that says you can't, And I think that's great, because it really does stretch an artist to their maximum potential, I think.
And that's what I'm trying to do, is stretch myself. And, another big part of my life is my family and my wife. And so all these songs have really been influenced by my relationship, with my wife as well as the Lord. That first song, my first song was called Wherever You Go. And that literally was written about a moment, just a moment. Every morning she walks me out and watches me drive away. So that first song was literally written about that one moment. So, my wife is a huge supporter and encourages me. So she's part of all those songs. She got a little piece in every one.
Oh, that's so sweet. And, and I think having the family support is half the battle won, especially when, you pursue music, because it is such a rigorous type of profession, and it really does command a lot of time and a lot of dedication, and not to mention incredibly hard work. I mean, getting up there and performing for an audience is the fun part. It's all the behind-the-scenes stuff that you have to do in preparation for that makes it what it is when you get out there and perform for an audience. And
oh my God,
so
you
just finished the 6th song today. Talk about some other great things you might have brewing, that might be coming down the pipes before the end of the year.
Absolutely. I'm trying to keep on the trend of putting out a new song, every other month, let's say. So, I've got a couple of producers I work with, Rusty Wilmot, Josh Cobb up in Jacksonville, and I got a guy, Lou Taxi, out in L.A. So I'm kind of working with people all over the map. And I'm really trying to spread myself out and do a lot of writing, as well as doing recording. And then with my band One Wild Night here in Central Florida, we play a lot of the largest venues and a lot of the events here in Central Florida. So I get to perform every other week at least. And then I'm writing in the off time with these amazing producers who make me sound really good. And then I think from a musical perspective, I'm just continuing to try to grow myself. So every song that I do, I'm trying to stretch it and say, let's do something a little bit different, or let's try something and see how it goes. Because I am from the original perspective, new to it, I really am still trying to find myself, believe it or not. So I'm really, really happy with the product. But I'm trying to keep with the trend of getting new songs every other month, and hopefully move in to get some, maybe even some videos done or something.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Now, talk a little bit about some of the musical influences that you have had on your life that maybe have kind of had a part in the music that you're creating now.
Yeah, like I said, in the 90s it was pretty much R&B, which is so interesting, because in the 80s it was like Metallica, and I loved them, and they were awesome. But you know what? I think what I can attribute it all to, even to this day, like right now, like Keith Urban, I just love Keith Urban right now. I think I gravitate kind of to how I put it out there. I'm a very emotional, passionate person, so that's the kind of music that I gravitate to. So for me, in creating or even performing, I lay it all out there. I mean, if you were to come to one of my shows, I leave it there. You know what I mean? I'm all over the
Mhm.
place. I'm very interactive, and so to me, I always gravitate towards music that's very passionate and emotional that you connect to. I mean, like Brian McKnight, Celine Dion. I just love listening to that kind of stuff because I can connect to it emotionally. And that's
Mhm.
exactly what I try to put out. So I don't know if that
Oh,
answers
yeah.
your question, but
Definitely, definitely. And that is one thing, as I was listening to your music, I do connect to that. And because I can hear the passion in it. Just the lyrics. I mean, if you stripped away the music part and just listened and just read the lyrics or listened to the lyrics, I mean, you could get that because it's meaningful. And again, I don't know if that kind of goes back to reading your bio and knowing where you are personally, but it just really, I think it resonates with anyone that hears it because, at the end of the day, we've all been through stuff. We've all had stuff hurled at us. We've all had things thrown at us unexpectedly. And songs like this are what get us through things. And music is that one thing. It's just the universal language almost. And it's the one thing that really can tap into emotions and touch, hearts and really help people in whatever they're going through. And it speaks volumes like nothing else does, really.
Oh, you got that right. Yeah, I agree. And for me, whether it's my writing, my spiritual writing, or my writing songs, for me, I feel like it is, spiritual in a way that God's providing me a thought, and then I just allow Him to work it through. So even in the songs or in my writings, I'm learning just as much as anybody else, or I'm speaking to myself as much as anybody else. It's not like I'm this holier than thou and that, man, Chris, my life is so great and amazing, and you people need to listen to me. I'm more like, man, this is how my heart is, and this is the struggle. And my new song, it's kind of cool. It's so different than my other 5 because the other 5 are kind of love songs and stuff, and then this one is a kind of an indirect love song. It's more of a painful heartache love song. So, and it's just and when I was writing the song this week, that's what came out. So I think it's so cool and organic to be able to work through some of that and still maintain the right focus. You know what I mean? Like my family, my wife, and God. They're bigger than all this. I've always said I'd give up music tomorrow if I had to. If God asked me to move it, then it's gone. You know what I mean? And that's sincerity, being willing to let it go. So I'm
definitely.
so thankful that He uses me in this way,
And because it is such a great way to reach so many people, and people love music, and it is that one common identifier that people, no matter where you're from or what you believe or what have you, I mean, it is one thing that definitely unifies people unlike anything else, and that's why so many people love music. I can say it's certainly the reason why I love it. And
Me too.
So you've got the 6th song, and you're just doing all these incredible things. Do you think at some point though you may try to hit the road with your band and do like a mini tour, maybe up and down the East Coast? I'd love to see you guys come to North Carolina.
Yeah. I'm honestly, I was so ready for that. I love performing, and I'm really, really loving my songs and stuff. So right now, I feel like not quite there yet, but I'm hoping next year. Since I got 6 songs, I mean, you really need about probably 10 to do a full set. And with original, I usually do one-setters. It's kind of interesting because with the cover band, we play for 4 hours. You know what I mean? We get out there and we're all night. So it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. I'm not going to say it would be. It's going to be nice. I'm so looking forward to getting out there and performing my stuff and getting out there and sharing it. And, my wife and I talk about, looking out in the crowd and having people singing your words. How amazing that would be. God,
I'm already singing. I mean, starting over is like stuck in my head. So yes, it will happen. Trust me.
I really, really appreciate it.
Now, I have to add, this is a non-music question, and you probably get this a lot as well, but I am just intrigued by your tattoos. I must tell you, you have a lot of them, yes, but the thing about your tattoos, unlike most that I've seen here, or just really anywhere, is that they're very defined. They're very well done. I have no tattoos myself, but I know a lot of people that do, and they're colorful, and wow, I mean, were you ever a tattoo artist at one point, or do you get that question? Because
I do get that question a lot.
I hope I'm not coming across as sounding offensive.
No, I think it's great.
I'm intrigued. I mean, it is. your tattoos are awesome, and just they're so well done. Oh my gosh, I'm thinking you've just got a bank account in your tattoos because man,
if you knew how much I've spent in the last 10 years getting tattooed, it's a lot of money. And I've got probably, between 200 and 300 hours, probably between mid-2s and 300 hours. And I take care, like I wear sunscreen or long sleeve shirts. Like if back in the day when I was mowing my lawn, I'd wear a hat and a long sleeve shirt. People are like, "Are you crazy?" But when you invest that much money into something, the sun ruins tattoos. So I really take care of mine, even to this day. And it's been a long process, and I designed a lot of my tattoos, you know what I mean? I was involved in that. So people say, "Hey, are you a tattoo artist?" No, but I've drawn tattoos that people have done. So, and all mine, Dawn, are rooted in spiritual in some way. They have some type of reflection of my life. I mean, my back, I think I have a picture on Twitter and stuff. My back is Jesus on the cross, my entire back. I mean, it's huge, and it's such amazing. Yeah, you can look after. It's really, really amazing. So, when I get on stage, and we're going to be at Bike Week in a couple weeks, Biketoberfest, on the biggest stage over there at Full Moon Saloon, and if it's hot, I'll take my shirt off, and people are like, "Oh my God!" And then I get people saying, "Hey, that is so cool." Like it's almost that connection. It doesn't matter where I'm at. That even my tattoos reflect my spiritual being, and I can say, I'm willing to stand up and say it. I don't care if I'm on stage at Bike Week or if I'm, wherever. I'm going to stand up for what I believe in. So.
Well, and I mean, literally, no pun intended, you are a walking work of art. I mean, seriously. And I will give out your website and all that when we're done because I want people to go and see your tattoos. And that's not to take away from the music aspect. But, oh, my gosh, I mean, they are remarkable. I've never seen anything like it.
Thank you.
It's not it's just not a matter that you have as many as you do. It's the fact that they're so well done. They're colorful. I mean, you can tell that you have spent top dollar for. You've had a doggone good tattoo artist through the years that really knows what they're doing because
try to stick to one. If you find one you like, you stick to them. You know what I mean? It's funny because based on my look, don't you think that based on my look, people expect me to be this rock, heavy, and then they hear my music oh, I didn't see that coming,
Well, honestly, you asked the question, yes, I think, but that's the really neat thing. I know my son a couple of years back, he had adopted a certain look, and he was kind of going for the whole, not really the goth look, but it was just a phase, and so he said, I was asking him one day, I was trying to logically rationalize why did he want to straighten his hair and wear skinny jeans. It just made no sense to me. And he finally said to me one day, he says, it was like when he was in 10th grade. He said, "Mom," he said, "people, if they see me this way and then they get to know me for me, then," he says, "it's going to throw them off." He said, because, this is an outer persona, but it doesn't mean I'm who this persona depicts that I am. And he really, and this was even before he was saved, and he's going on and doing some great things for God now, and it's just amazing how even then he had it. He really understood that it wasn't what was on the outside, and that you can't always judge a book by its cover, as the old saying goes.
My wife says, it's an icebreaker. My tattoos, it's a conversation piece. So when we're out, people are automatically going to start with that. So in me, because they're based in spiritual meaning, for me, it's such an easy segue into, here's where I'm at. I wear it on my sleeve anyway, literally. But and it's funny because in the household, my wife is an artist, abstract, absolutely amazing. I mean, amazing. And I've seen her grow, and we expose our kids, Josiah, Paige, and Brooke, we expose them to art and music and all these creative things, and it's so funny because it seems like, it's just creative, but for us, it's so much deeper than that. It's expression. It's letting out and finding who that inner person is. So like you said with your son, that you can own that. This is who I am, and I should be able to stand up for that. If not, I should question it. You know what I mean? Internally myself.
Well, and he doesn't have a tattoo. When he graduated from high school, he contemplated, and then his dad and I said, just wait a year, and then if you still want to get one in a year when you're 19 or whatever, because as you get out of school and you head to college, things change instantly when you head off to college. So we knew this, and we were like, if you still feel as passionate about this in a year, but I am going to show him your pictures. I'm going to say, look, you got to check out this dude's tattoos. He will be amazed, especially I'll look you up on Instagram and show him that picture because he will be, he's in for the weekend for fall break, and I will will show him, and I'll say, look at this dude I interviewed, and look at his tattoos. But I think that's incredible because you do have a great point, and that is it is a great segue into conversation. What a great icebreaker to be able to go and talk to anybody, and then, as you're having conversation, be able to talk about more and go deeper, and I think that's awesome. And so, you've got multiple ways that I believe God's using you to reach people, and I think that's just incredible. So, I
am so fortunate.
Well, I tell you, I know that you are going to have an amazing career. I mean, it's like I said, and I will continue to maintain it. You should already be signed and on the radio. You're that good.
Thank you so much.
And you're definitely someone that needs to be heard, and that's why you were on our program tonight. And we will continue to play your music and support you in any way that we can. So anything that you've got going on, just let us know. Any new music, pass it our way. We will be happy to play it and promote it.
Awesome. You guys are great. I want to thank all my friends, who are listening right now. It's such a humbling thing, I feel so fortunate, I really do.
Well, I believe in indies, and if you can imagine, I get lots of music in daily almost, and I get some that's not that great, and I get some that is just, like I said, I'm going, why am I getting this? This should already be, I should be hearing this on my radio, as I'm checking my email, right? So, yeah, I definitely believe in indies, and I believe in what you guys are doing. In my opinion, it's better than what we hear on mainstream radio because you are able to put all you've got into your music because that's all you've got. I mean, you don't have a major record label backing you. So
I'm paying for this stuff.
Your creative genius can completely be unleashed to a level that is unforeseen anywhere else, and that's the beauty of it. So, so we're glad to promote you and support you in what you do every step of the way.
Really appreciate it.
Well,
Likewise.
This has been an incredible time. I've enjoyed speaking with you, and like I said, we will continue to play your music, and so we'd love to have you back anytime you've got something new to share.
Great.
We're happy to have you on.
Awesome. I will definitely do that.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Don. I really, really appreciate you guys having me on it. I really thank you so much for the support and encouragement. It means a lot.
Oh, you're so welcome, and enjoy your evening, and say hello to your family for us.
I will.
Have a great weekend, and I'm sure we'll be in touch soon.
Thanks, everybody. I love you. Thank you so much, Don.
All right. Take care, Chris.
All right. Take care. Bye.
One of the coolest people I have ever spoken to. I mean, honestly, I've done, probably close to 300 interviews now, and undoubtedly he's one of the coolest people I've ever talked to. And we're going to play the song we've been playing on our show here over the last several weeks called Starting Over here in a second. But before I do that, I want to give you some information on Chris Giles. You can visit his website, ChristopherGilesMusic.com, and there's a really cool picture of him on his homepage that has, it shows some of his tattoos, and you need to check out the tattoos. My gosh, they're the cool, most spectacular things I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of tattoos in my day, but I've never seen any like these. Definitely, those are an investment. And he is also on Twitter, and you can follow him on Twitter at Chris Giles Music, and he is also on Facebook. And at Christopher Giles Music as well. So look him up on there, follow him. And more importantly, if you like his music, please buy it. Support him and buy it because, again, I say this so often, indie artists are not signed. Everything they do is paid for out of their own pockets. They don't have major record labels supporting them or, backing them financially and allowing them to do whatever they need to do to get their music out there. They're funding it themselves. So if you like their music, please buy it. Support them because, you supporting them in that way allows them to continue to do what they love, and that's provide great music to all of us. So it's a win-win for everyone, really. So without further ado, I want to play Chris's latest single, and love this one, and you are going to also. This is Chris Giles and Starting Over.
By my side, even miles apart, I keep you deep inside. I know I found it here with you. Don't you know why? Wouldn't change a thing. They must be blind. That's how they see us. That's how it is with you. So many things I'd love to say to let you know I feel this way. If I had a chance, I would tell you. I need you to listen. It was my life, to do it all again. If I could have my way, start it over. I start it over. I start it over again. Give me one more hour, give me one more day. If I have a chance, this is what I say. Start it over. I start it over. I start it over. How will you, girl? All the time with you, you know I do it all again. 1,000 times, I'm glad I found you. It was here with you. Memories will fade, but you know I'd rather have you stay right here by my side. 'Cause I found it forever me with you. If I had a chance, I would tell you. I need you to listen. It was my life, to do it all again. If I could have my way, start it over. I start it over. I start it over again. Give me one more hour, give me one more day. If I have a chance, this is what I say. Start it over. I start it over. I start it over. How will you, girl? If the world came crashing down, our love would sail the depths of time. We watch the cities crumble. I'd never move from by your side, even when the walls are shaking. Even if the flames are out, I'll be. If I have it one more breath, girl, I'd take you for eternity. Starting over, I started here with you. It was my life, to do it all again. If I could have my way, start it over. I start it over. I start it over again. Starting over and over again. Give me one more hour, give me one more day. If I had a chance, this is what I say. Start it over. I start it over. I start it over. How will you, girl?
Mr. Chris Giles and Starting Over, and I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I love that song, and it's a great song indeed. So again, if you really like that song, go to ChristopherGilesMusic.com. Check him out. He's got a couple of his tracks up there that you can sample and listen to, and if you like it, please buy it and support him. We want to give a huge thank you to him for being our special guest this evening, and as well to all of you. And if you're brand new to our program, welcome aboard. We're always glad to have new listeners in the mix. So with that, I am going to say it's a wrap. That is going to do it for this week, and we are actually going to be off Saturday night. I have a family commitment that I am going to be attending to, so we will not be bringing our Indie Artist Showcase to you this week, but we will be back next week at 7 p.m. Eastern, so you'll want to be sure to tune in for that. Before I wrap, I do want to make one announcement, and this is to let everyone know. We have been working fervently on this for a while now, and I'm so excited to let you know that this week we finally got this completed. We have had a radio station since 2007, hosted over at live365.com. And the last week or so, we have been working to get all of our content moved to a brand new server in a different location. And I must say, it was quite a task, but we have finally mastered it, and we've done it, and we are now officially live. And on top of that, our Jukebox Junction Radio plays a great mix of all kinds of music from the last 5 decades. But in addition to that, we have been able and fortunate enough to launch another radio station called Jammin Jukebox Radio. It will be the radio station for our show. We will continue to have our show here, do our indie artist interviews, and do our indie artist showcase, our live show on Saturday nights. But our Jammin Jukebox Radio is a station now that will run 24/7 and will play all indie music. And this is huge for us, but even bigger for the indie artists, because now they will have a voice and they can be heard 24/7, 365 worldwide. So we'll be tweeting out the link for that, and so be watching for that. If you don't currently follow us on Twitter, please feel free to do so and tweet us and let us know how you like the show. We are at Jammin Jukebox, and you can also check out our website, thejamminjukebox.com, and you'll hear a little blurb in a minute that will, as we play out, that will give you all the details of where you can follow us and find us on social media. So again, thanks to Chris Giles for being our guest, and thanks to all of you. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you right back here again early next week. Take care, all. Have a great weekend. God bless. Good night.
Thanks for listening to tonight's show. You can connect with Jammin Jukebox Radio Show on Twitter at Jammin Jukebox or on Facebook at Jammin Jukebox Radio Show. Check out our website at thejamminjukebox.com. Also, follow us on Blog Talk, where you will be always up to date on every episode as we add it. Each episode is available for immediate download upon the conclusion of each broadcast, and as always, on iTunes. Thank you for joining us.